Well, hey there, fabulous book lovers. Welcome back to another episode of Young Adult Edition. Today, we are hanging out with our spooky episode. So Halloween is just around the corner, and we are talking all about those deep, dark, scary books that everybody loves, the psychological thrillers, and everything that has to do with spooky reading. If you are here, I would love to hear from you. Jump down to the comments and let us know, what is your favorite spooky book? And as you can see here on Young Adult Edition, I am solo on screen right now because my co-host Elle Beaumont is not feeling well today, so she has the day off. But I am K.m. Robinson. I'm the author of the Siren War Saga, and I will be here hanging out with a special guest star today. We're talking all about those spooky books. Now, before we jump into talking with our guest star, we are going to be touching on a little bit of book world news, and I happen to have a couple of announcements for you. I'm very excited for this. We are actually going to be doing some fun things in my book world over the next couple of weeks. So I am super excited to see all of you. Thank you for all of the comments. We do want to hear from you. What's your favorite spooky young adult book? Let us know down in those comments below. And like I said, we do have some book world news. We have a little bit of a switch in my personal book lineup. So we are going to be talking about some of my books today. Usually we don't talk about my books, but today we are, because we've got some interesting announcements coming on. You guys know that we were actually supposed to have the release of The Revolution of Jack Frost tomorrow, but because of a little bit of a mix-up with our printer, we are releasing this on November 6th in hardcover, ebook, and paperback. But to make up for it, I may or may not have a surprise for you tomorrow. I may or may not have a brand new book for you, which I'll tell you about in just a minute. And then in 2 weeks, we're actually releasing the Blood from a Stone Twisted Villains anthology, which I am so excited about. And then, of course, after that, we are going to be doing The Revolution of Jack Frost as well. So there's a lot going on in my personal book world this week, and I cannot wait for you guys to jump in and get involved with that as well. But because we know we love to talk about books, we are going to be talking about some new releases this week. I'm thrilled because, well, like I said, I have not one, not two, but 3 book releases in the next 3 weeks. We're going to be hanging out, talking all about some fun, fabulous books. And let's take a look at some that come out this week. And as you can see, 2 of mine are on there. We actually have Cinderella, which is my very dark, twisted retelling of Cinderella, which happens to involve nanobots as a mask, which is why the prince doesn't recognize her when he meets her. Oh, but wait. She's also an assassin, and she's going to take out the prince. So lots of fun there. We do have the Blood from a Stone Villains anthology coming out a week from tomorrow. And so I am very excited. We've got some really cool stuff coming out in the next week. And I would love to know if I missed one of these, drop me a line below, because we want to celebrate all the young adult releases week to week. And if you happen to be an author, or you happen to know a book coming out in the coming weeks, please let us know. We would love to jump in and celebrate with them as well, so that we can talk all about these great new releases here on Young Adult Edition. Now, here is the deal, guys. We are going to be doing some really cool stuff today. We are talking all about spooky books, because Halloween is coming, and we happen to have a fabulous guest star with us today. I'm so excited. We are going to be chatting with Dawn Husted, and she is the author of Girl Gone Ghost. Dawn, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I'm so thrilled to have you. We've actually been chatting on social media, and I am so excited to talk all about spooky books with you. So if you guys are joining us live, let us know, what is your favorite thing about spooky books? Dawn, I know that you've got quite a few books out. Can you tell us just a little bit about yourself? We're going to jump into talking about the spooky books, and then before we go, we're going to talk all about Girl Gone Ghost.
Yay. Well, I'm Dawn, and I write teen fiction. However, many adults, including myself, love reading teen fiction. So it's called YA. Exactly. So I love it. I think it's the funnest type of category to write in, because the whole world is open. I mean, you get to learn so much as a teen. And I also write nonfiction for adults. So anyways, that's me. I'm excited.
I know you're a super busy person too. You've got all sorts of things. I was hanging out on your website earlier, and I'm like, dang.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. My mind's always turning, but I don't know if that's just an author thing. We always have something going on in our heads to try new and try this and read that, and it's just wonderful.
I agree. I think it's like a creative thing, because I have that in my other creative worlds as well. And it's just going around and around and around. So
yes, even when you're trying to relax, You almost feel
Relax.
a little bit like, right. You feel a little bit bad. Like you're like, oh no, I should be doing something. Like I have this idea. Yeah, you can't relax.
Yes.
Yes.
We understand each other here.
Yes.
That's so funny. All right. So I know you've got some really cool stuff going on, and you actually have a psychological thriller. It's a little bit on the spooky side. And today we're talking all about those things that lend themselves toward Halloween. And like I said earlier, Halloween is just around the corner. We are talking about spooky books today. And next week, we have a very special Halloween related episode. We'll get back to that. But we do want to talk about those spooky, darker books today. So what do you think it is that draws people toward things that are a little bit scary, a little bit intimidating, a little bit on the spooky side?
I think it's more of like, I mean, I know there's a difference between suspense and thriller and spooky, but it almost all goes in hand. Like suspense just, it keeps you on the edge of your seat and it makes you either turn the page or watch the next episode, whatever you're doing, reading or writing or watching. I don't know. I love it. Yes, there's always a place in the world for, the good feel type of books. I love those books too. But then it's always nice to have a little bit of suspense and horror. I love that.
I do too. Do you have a lot of books in your collection that are young adult, kind of on the spookier side, or do you kind of go more toward that light and fluffy?
I guess I have a little bit of both. Surprisingly, I wouldn't know if the books I have on my shelf are really called spooky or horror, but yet they all have a suspense feel. And so even though it's not a ghost jumping out at you, it's, you're trying to figure out who the killer is or what the answer to the mystery is. Because there's always some type of, you find out the end, who they're after the whole time or what the solution to the problem is. But then I also love the good feel. Like I love John Green books. Even though that's not, I'm usually crying in John Green books, but I love those kinds of books. And then it just really depends on what mood I'm in. But especially for October, I love reading and watching everything that has to do with spooky.
I really feel like it's a seasonal type thing. Like people do like the horror, people like suspense, people like the spookier things year round. But when we get to this time of the year, it's like all things dark, all things scary. And I think it just kind of comes with the changing of the seasons and the leaves down and the cold weather, I think.
Right. No, you're right. I think you're absolutely right. Because, it's summertime. I'm not thinking, I need to go get the spooky book right now. You're absolutely right.
Exactly. I feel like summer kind of lends itself to those nice, easy, feel-good books. And then you get fall, it's like, oh, get the apple cider, get the pumpkin spice, scary books.
Yes, exactly.
All right. We've got Connie Roberts joining us with the wave. Hey, girl. We love seeing you here every single week hanging out. If you've got questions about spooky books or for Dawn about her books, feel free to drop those. We are going to get as many of those answered as possible while we're live on air today. And if you happen to be watching our rebroadcast, we still want to hear from you. Jump down to the comments, leave us your comments, leave us your questions, and we will get as many of these answered for you as possible in the comments. And if you come up with something that's so good but we didn't get answered, I may or may not be able to get Dawn to come back and join us for another episode to get your questions answered. So drop your comments down below. Irene, thanks for all the love. We appreciate you being here. We love seeing you as well. And if you've got questions about those spooky books, now is a great time to drop those. Connie is jumping in, and she wants to know what's a good spooky book that isn't too gory. Dawn, do you have any recommendations for us?
Oh, goodness. I don't know if this would be called spooky per se. It's not really spooky, though. I watch more spooky than I read spooky, but I love the Hush Hush series just because it's like that dark urban fantasy feel. It's not gory, but it has a little bit of spooky in it, and you're trying to figure out a lot of things throughout it. It's by Becca Fitzpatrick. It's really, really good. She also wrote Black Ice. I think that's what it was, and that's definitely a spooky feel. And there might be a tiny bit of gory in it, but not a whole lot. And it's more of realistic, so you can feel the spooky because you feel like it could happen to you. So I do love that book as well.
Nice. And we've got Irene jumping in. She is suggesting Goosebumps, which I hear they have a new movie for, right?
Yes. I almost feel like my kids watch and read the old Goosebumps series, and I almost know if it's like scarier than I would have thought. Like it's so scary, even though I don't remember it being scary. And then we also watch and read all the new stuff that comes out. I love Goosebumps. How can you not like Goosebumps?
Irene is also suggesting, are you afraid of the dark? And we've got Connie here wanting to know if either of us have actually tried the new Netflix show, Haunting of Hill House.
Yes, I was going to bring that up at some point. I just think I finished it. Did I finish it? It was so late last night when I was watching, I thought the last episode, I can't remember if that's the last episode, but it was the last episode. It gets scarier and scarier with each episode. And then the ending sort of puts just a perfect rounding to the end. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but my goodness, it was scary. It was so scary. It was great.
I have not tried it yet, but I feel like I probably should, so I know what I'm talking about.
Yes, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Have you watched it, Connie?
Connie, let us know if you've seen it. Irene has. She just finished it last night.
Yes.
Great writing.
Yes.
Irene, my friend, I feel like I need to have you on as a guest one of these days. DM me later. Let's make this happen. I'm just saying. Just saying. Connie has seen 2 episodes of the show, but she is hooked.
Yeah,
I'm definitely behind the boat on this one, but I'm going to have to look into it.
Yes.
Great time of year for that, right?
Definitely.
All right. So I know you actually kind of write more of the thriller angle on these stories. We're actually going to be talking about your book, Girl Gone Ghost. Tell us just a little bit about what your story's about.
I absolutely love that story. It was almost a mixture. There's obviously a ghost in it. That's why it's a Girl Gone Ghost. But it also has this psychological aspect to it because you don't quite know. When you get to the end, you want to reread certain parts to make sure you didn't miss something because you don't know what you're missing until you get to the end. And so you're following this unreliable narrator. You know you're missing something, but you don't know exactly. It's written in first person, so you're reading it from the protagonist's point of view. And her friend was killed by the town's serial killer. And the first chapter, the protagonist all of a sudden is haunted by the ghost of her dead best friend. And so she's never seen ghosts before. And so when this happens to her, Miss Perfect, life is, she's dating a star football player. Everything's going great. And all of a sudden this ghost is haunting her. And it's not like a pretty ghost. An eyeball's falling out. She looks like her dead best friend, just died, so it looks like the ghost has just died. And it's haunting her and it's telling her, basically find my killer or I'm not going to stop haunting you. It's a great thrill ride and I love it. It was fabulous. I loved writing it and I loved editing it and revising it and sending it off to people and getting it back. I loved everything about it.
It's such a fun process to be a writer, isn't it? To be able to send it off and get feedback and then hear what people are thinking of it. And I was just having a conversation with some of my fans yesterday about how much fun it is for them to direct message me or email me while they're reading the book. And I know it's coming and they don't. Oh, it's the best. I love it.
That'd be fabulous. That'd be really, that's right there is why I know there's different reasons why we write or why I write, but I love hearing from readers when they're scared at the parts that I want them to be scared at, you did your job right, or when they're sad, when you want them to be sad, it's just the best feeling. I love it.
It really is, isn't it? I love when my fans get upset with me over the things that I do because I'm a little bit mean to my characters, unfortunately. But I've actually had crusades of my fans with stick figure protests.
Oh, no way.
I'm upset about how mean I'm being to my characters. It's the funnest thing. I have screenshots all over my phone from it.
Oh, that's so great. That is wonderful.
It is. It's absolutely hilarious. So, guys, just shout out here. If you are a fan of an author, direct message them, email them, talk to them about their book because it is the most fun thing you can do for us. It's even better than, buying our book or recommending our book to other friends of yours because we actually get to talk about our characters in our books and it's amazing. So if you want to help us out, if you want to encourage us, DM us. It's fun. We're all social. It's a great thing.
Then we know the time that we put into it makes it worth it.
Because writing a book is not easy. It is a hard, time-consuming thing. And so for you to come and tell us you've done something we like, that makes us so happy. Just saying.
Yes.
Right out there. Okay. So because we're talking about spooky things, because we're talking about a little bit on the darker side, I have to know, what is the spookiest thing that has ever happened to you while you were writing?
Oh, while I was writing?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Now I don't even know. I want to say it was last week I was writing and I write when my kids are in school and At the time, I mean, I just had a cat, so she's really, really quiet. And, my house doesn't make noises really, but I know I was writing and something fell in the room behind me. It makes you just kind of jump because you're alone. And I remember thinking, did I lock all the doors and windows? And you think like the worst. Maybe it's because I was writing spooky stuff as well. I mean, your mind can play tricks on you. So that to me, just noises that should not be there are scary to me. That's terrible, but I think it's scary.
No, I totally feel you on that one. I definitely feel you on that one.
Yeah.
But I feel like you're right. When you are in that mindset for things that are a little bit spookier, that definitely can play some tricks on you, right?
Oh, yes, it does.
Hey, listen, if you are joining us live or you're on the rebroadcast, we need you to do us a favor. If you're having fun hanging out with us today, jump down and hit that share button. When you hit the share button, that tells Facebook we are doing something good, we're having an entertaining show, and it should be showing our episode to more people, which not only helps us here at Young Adult Edition, but also helps our guest stars as well. And when Facebook starts to share it to more people and we bring in more people to hang out with us, that means I can do more cool things, just like more episodes of Young Adult Edition for you guys. We've got some incredible guest stars coming on in the next couple of weeks. You guys are going to flip out when you see some of the people that we've got coming in the next couple of weeks. And we also have some cool stuff going on outside of Young Adult Edition right here on Facebook.com/k.m.robinson books as well. So hitting that share button helps us to do more cool things for you. Help a girl out, click the share button. Oh, goodness. Irene is loving the alliteration in your title. Connie is saying it sounds really cool. Irene said she's going to come on the show. Yes, girl, you do not have to be a fiction author. I did not know you wanted to be an author. Now we're going to have to bond over this. But you can come on as a book lover. I would love to have you on. Connie wants to talk all about ghosts. Have either of us seen a ghost?
The two scariest moments. I don't even think I can say I've seen a ghost. It's what I thought was a ghost at the time. Looking back, it was just my mind. I was laying in bed and it was in a different house. It was in the dark and I could have sworn there was some dark shadow with like a cone on top of his head, like a dark shadow that did this. Looking back, I'm thinking it was probably like the edge of my door in the darkness. Like I'm like,
yes.
But you see something. And then when I sleep now, my bathroom doors are on my side of the bed. If they are open, especially when I was watching the haunting on the haunting at on the hill. Gosh, the house hill. I'm getting all confused. I have to keep those doors closed because just the shadow behind into the bathroom. I feel like something is looking at me. Shadows and darkness. I hate that, but that's what I love to write. So there you go.
Shadows are such a thing, right? Like you don't know what it is. And when you figure it out, you just feel a little silly because it's something innocuous, right? I've done that so many times. What is this thing that's in the room? No, it was nothing.
Exactly.
I'm going to tell you, I actually have in my studio, I have mannequins, and sometimes I will walk into a room with dark, and it's like, oh no, wait, it's a mannequin. We're fine.
that would scare me too. Oh yeah.
It's definitely, when I first got them, it was definitely an issue because if any light would filter into the room, you'd see it.
Oh yeah. All you need is one of their arms to move. You don't want that.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Connie is saying she can't sleep with her closet doors open. Doesn't matter if you're an adult. It doesn't matter at all. No, it doesn't matter. It's a security thing. We get the door shut. It's a thing.
Yes.
That's so funny. Connie, since you are here hanging out with us, let us know spooky moments in your life. We'd love to hear. All right. So let's jump back into talking about your book a little bit. I know that this is a bit of a psychological thriller. How did you come up with the idea of doing a not so pretty ghost?
It was crazy. I was actually meeting with a critique group. And these writers are a little bit older than me, so they have even more experience than I do. And one of them suggested, like, they were reading my first chapter, which is where the ghost is first introduced. And she said, this ghost is not creepy enough. Like, you want the reader to feel creepy, right? And I'm thinking, yeah, of course. She's like, well, you need to have like the eyeball hanging out of her head. And that is what spurred for me to really dive into different ways of making this ghost creepy, because she drowned. So I mean, her cheeks are filled with almost like they're about to pop, you know, and their eyeballs hanging out. And then water looks like it's dripping from her when there's no water on the ground. So it just really opened my eyes up to expand the character of the ghost so that it is as creepy for the reader as I wanted it to be.
Fantastic. I do like that, that you kind of put all those fun visuals in there because, I mean, really, if somebody has drowned, they don't quite look the same, right?
Exactly.
I kind of like that you embellished that a little bit. Connie is saying that she does have some interesting experiences to tell us about, but they're kind of on the long side, so we might just have to have her on the show one of these days. And if you guys did not catch Connie Roberts' episode a couple of weeks ago, she was actually on talking about how to do a shared world book series. Make sure you check that out. And we'll get Connie back on to share some fun stories one of these days. It's going to be lots of fun. If you are live with us, we are wrapping up in the next couple of minutes, but we still want to hear from you. If you've got questions, if you've got comments, if you want to talk all about Girl Gone Ghost or about spooky books, drop us a line below and we'll get as many answers as possible. And if you are in the replay, we still want to hear from you. Drop your comments, drop your questions. We'll get them answered in the comments. And if you have something that's so dang good that we have to answer it on air, we will totally do our best to bring Dawn back to get those questions answered for YOU. So we would love to hear from you. Drop us some comment love down below. So Dawn, I know you have a lot of other books that you have written as well. Do you kind of want to give us just a very quick highlight reel of what you've written?
Sure. I mean, I never stay with one genre, but they're usually all teen fiction. So the very first one I wrote, I'm a huge, and I still am, a dystopian lover. Like, I love dystopia.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, I just love it. It doesn't get old to me. I just love it. So my very first book was called Safe, and it was just about two people on an island that are having to escape for different reasons, which you'd have to read the book. And then my second one is Sight of Darkness, and I had just read the Hush series, and years before that, I had read the Twilight series. I just loved the different takes of different mythological characters, and so I decided to write the personification of death. So the personification of like the Grim Reaper in real time. So urban fantasy, it takes place here, but there's a Grim Reaper. So that is what Sight of Darkness is. And the main character, they kind of have a romantic love-hate type of relationship. You have to read about that. And then Girl Gone Ghost. So those are my main books. I mean, I have some short stories available as well, but those would be my main, teen fiction that always has like a dark twist to it. I'll be writing a romance book in November because it's NaNoWriMo, right? So that'll be my first romance book that has that lacks a fantastical element. So it definitely created a challenge for me to try to find an antagonist that wasn't a monster. It wasn't a Grim Reaper. It wasn't a ghost. It wasn't the political faction in my book, the dystopian book Safe. So that's really interesting, and I'm excited to write that one.
That sounds like so much fun. Connie wants to know, do you happen to have a copy of your book, Girl Gone Ghost, next to you that you can hold up?
Oh, I do. Right, let's see. Okay. I love this because I just loved everything about it. I mean, it's just a beautiful, and so I'll see if I can get a close up. Girl Gone Ghost. And see, there's like the ghost girl kind of behind it that looks kind of crazy. And that's what I was really excited about this.
That's awesome. And I am super glad that you had that right next to you, because I was going to pull it up on the internet and pop it up on the screen if we needed to.
Okay,
I was
good.
preparing.
I was trying to be prepared, so you never know.
Yes, absolutely. And I have a feeling Connie's going to go out and get a copy of your book later because she's all about finding good stories. And she's totally into the ghost thing, I can see.
You'll have to let me know what you think. So I'm excited.
Connie, you'll have to DM her. Live DM reactions. It'll be fun.
Definitely.
I'm such a big fan of that interaction between a reader and author. And if you are a little bit creeped out by the story, make sure you let her know, because I have a feeling she's going to be like me and she's going to sit there and giggle.
Yes, it's the best thing ever. I love it.
It's so much fun. I love when my fans get all revved up because I'm being mean to my characters, and I just kind of sit there and I'm kind of an evil person about it, and I feel like you would enjoy that as well. Am I right?
Completely agree. Yes.
Yes. All right. So we are just about out of time, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. If you do have more questions, if you have more comments, we still want to hear from you. Jump down. Let us know what your favorite spooky book is. Give us your suggestions. I typically don't read more of like the Halloween type books, so I don't have a ton of suggestions for you. might need to catch me up on that. So let me know what I should be looking at for perfect Halloween reads, let's call it. Let me know in the comments below. And if you've got questions or comments, hit us up. We will be monitoring those comments over the next couple of days and weeks as well. And if you happen to be on YouTube or over on our blog where we're repurposing this video, drop your comments too. We'll check that as well. Dawn, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you being here. Can you let everybody know where they can find you?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook. I'm under The Dawn Husted, so DAWNHUSTED, or I'm on Twitter at The Dawn Husted. Actually, I guess Facebook, I'm just under Dawn Husted. Sorry. Twitter's The Dawn Husted, and Instagram's The Dawn Husted. But you can find all of them on my website, which is at dawnhusted.com. So, yay.
All right.
Yes, all right.
Thank you so much for joining us. I do appreciate you being here. I cannot wait to have you back on. We had a great time chatting before we came on air, guys. We're definitely going to have Dawn back because, like, so much fun. So stay tuned because she will be coming back soon for more fun things as long as she wants to. I hadn't asked her yet, but always. Fantastic. There we go. So we're definitely going to have her back soon, and we will be chatting with her again in the not too distant future. Dawn, thanks so much for joining us. I'll see you in the green room after we wrap.
Thank you.
All right, so here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. We have a jam-packed schedule for the next couple of weeks. And next week, I want you to join us because we have, are you ready for this? The costume episode of Young Adults Edition. We will be joined by me, k.m. Robinson, and my co-host, Elle Beaumont, who again is sick today. Feel better, Elle. But we're also going to be joined by some amazing authors, Amber Ardul. We've got J.M. Sullivan coming. We've got Annie Sullivan coming. We may even have some other friends joining us as well. I'm kind of wondering if maybe Connie wants to join us. I'm just saying, girl, since you're here, we are going to be doing all sorts of fun costume-related things next week. We're going to be dressing up. I hear Elle has a bit of a surprise for me. She won't tell me what she's dressing up as. So I don't know. I guess we're all going to be surprised together next week. It's going to be lots of fun. 10 a.m. on Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right here, K.M. Robinson Books on Facebook. It's facebook.com/K.M. Robinson Books. And of course, you can come hang out with me at k.m.robinsonbooks.com, where we have world portals to all of the different stories, which are currently undergoing a makeover and are open. But you will be able to see them again real soon. I've got some cool new things coming out, and you can hit me up at K.M. Robinson Books on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube. Hit me up on YouTube, guys. IGTV. I would love to hear from you. And like I said, we are very social creatures as authors. We want to hear from you. So even if you have not read our books, drop us a line. We would love to hear from you. It's going to be lots of fun, and we will talk all about the book world. It's going to be awesome. I will see you guys again next week for more Young Adult Edition. And just in case you missed our earlier announcement, we do have a slight change in my author schedule for the next couple of weeks. The Revolution of Jack Frost is no longer coming out tomorrow because we had a bit of a snafu with our printer. And so this will be out in hardcover, paperback, and ebook on November 6th. But because I don't like to leave you empty-handed, because I promised you would have a book tomorrow, I have a surprise. I do. I'm so excited. Tomorrow I'm announcing this brand new surprise, but I kind of hinted already. I'm going to tell you guys. Are you ready for this? I'm dropping a brand new book. Surprise release tomorrow. It is a Cinderella retelling. She has nanobots. She's an assassin. She's out to kill the prince, but the prince is also out to get her. It's going to be lots of fun. It is called Cinderella, and that is dropping tomorrow. We're going to be putting out some information on that first thing tomorrow. I cannot wait for you guys to see it. And then stay tuned for the following week because we are dropping the Blood from a Stone Twisted Villains Anthology. This is 8 different origin stories or twisted tales on the life of the villains that we all know and love. You can actually see my book, Sugar Coated. Inside of it, it's a Hansel and Gretel retelling where the witch wasn't actually a witch. In fact, she was on their side. So let's see. It's going to be lots of fun. It comes out individually. That's why it's printed individually in a couple of months. But I do have some things coming up in the very near future that I needed this for, so we got it printed early for me. I'm so excited, but you can read it inside of the Twisted Villains Anthology in a week and a day. It's going to be so much fun, so good, and it's on pre-order for 99 cents. Do not miss out. It's so good. And then after that, of course, we've got the Revolution of Jack Frost the week after. It's going to be lots of fun. The twisted take on Jack Frost with an out-of-control weather machine, and the only one that can save them is Jack. Well, you know there's dark twist to it, and I'm kind of mean. So stay tuned. Going to be lots of fun. I cannot wait to see you again next week for more Young Adult Edition. Thank you so much for joining our spooky episode of Young Adult Edition. We are going to be back next week for our costume episode, and then we've got some cool, amazing, wonderful people coming in the next couple of weeks as well. I've been hinting we have a super popular, amazing, everybody knows this person's name author coming on in a couple of weeks, and I'm really excited for it, but I can't tell you who yet. Stick around. It's going to be fun. I will see you guys again next week. And then, of course, join me all week long as I pop in for more author interviews and unboxings and fun, fabulous extra things here on Facebook.com/k.m.robinson books. I'll see you again soon. Until then, stay inspired. Bye-bye.